Deep in the Zazal marches lies the planet of Redoubt. Though no longer a human world, the memories of great conflict still haunt the forests of banat trees and echo through the canyons in the windswept mountains. Though the guns have long ago fallen silent, the echo of courage remains. It is in the quiet places the memories of combatants still live on in mangled rust and carved stone, where no Zazi foot dare to tread. Crosby was a quaint human settlement, low structures of steel and plastic built by the original colonists, surrounded by wood and stone homes that occupied fields, ready to bear fruit from long hours spent labouring in sun and rain. Under an old banat tree, as if to make the scene complete, lay an old healer named Soldier, who no one claimed, but everyone stopped by to give food, water, and affection for his constant vigil. Soldier just appeared on one clear day, a stray pup, half-starved and begging for food. He was filthy and coated with bugs, skin and bones and not much else. Originally he was shooed from every porch and paddock, driven out of town for fear of disease, but those sorrowful amber eyes had a way with the children. As it happened, the kids were off playing in the tall grass, and an utusa had stalked them in the tall grass, hoping for a quick meal. First came a scream, and the children fled the field. Then came a cry of suffering and pain before a final whimper escaped from the grass. As the humans gathered with their guns, Soldier emerged, the utusa that had been stalking the kids dead in its jaws. Humans pay kindness with kindness, and Soldier was cleaned and rid of the parasites that pestered him. He was then fed and given water, and allowed into several structures, but he preferred to recline in the shade of that old banat tree, ever watchful of the community he had adopted. He played fetch with the kids and herded sheep and kukla for the shepherds. He would try to steal from your plate and bark loudly to be let in before the rain, but always those amber eyes would watch the grass just beyond the town, wary of any who threatened his home. Not long into his fourth spring as Crosby's sole guardian, the Zazal took note of the world of Redoubt. The fields would be wonderful for their own agricultural needs, and the mountains held vital ores yet to be mined. At first they offered the human occupants money and safe passage, if they would give up their homes. When they came to Crosby, Soldier growled deep, and his amber eyes watched them as they went from place to place looking for any inclined to their offer. None would take money or leave their homes, and Soldier barked furiously as the Zazal left annoyed. Then they asked the government for Redoubt, offering money and passage for the inhabitants, and warned that they could take the world when the offer was declined. Spring turned to summer, and summer to fall. The fields needed attention and tending, and harvesting needed strong backs and focus. The Zazal threat was forgotten by most, but remained in those ever watchful amber eyes, as they looked across the grass for a threat soon to manifest. At the end of autumn, after the last field was turned to fallow, but before the first snows of winter, the Zazal returned. Their offer of money and safe passage replaced by a desire for ruin and blood. Millions came, filling the skies over Redoubt, intending to rack and ruin. In the dusky light, just beyond Crosby, a single ship landed and prepared for their macabre task. Where wool, meat and grain had been raised and harvested, the Zazal intended to harvest blood, but they had forgotten the ever-watchful amber eyes that had stalked them and growled the time before. Humans awoke to mad barking and howls, though there was no rain or snow. Soldier ran through town in an odd display, not wanting the warmth of a hearth or food and water under his old banat tree. Those eyes that had always been so sorrowful and happy were now filled with alarm and panic. Something was out there, and their guardian was scared, so the humans took up arms and ready for whatever might come, leaving the children in the town hall under the watchful amber eyes of Soldier. The humans were not ready to face the Zazal force, but their surprise had been lost, and the humans fought hard. For every human fallen, 3 Zazal would perish as well. But for every Zazal that dropped, another took its place. Desperation and dread seeped into the hearts of the humans, and it seemed the battle would be lost, until a howl like a war cry caused all eyes to turn, and the old healer charged the enemy ranks, fearless as his namesake. Something stirred in the heart of the humans, a gnawing fire and wrath-filled spite that began a charge from their low farming walls. An anger sparked and burned white-hot, that soldiers' hearts had aspired to do what the hearts of the townsfolk were afraid to commit, and in their shame they found the willingness to push, driving the Zazal back to their ship and away from their lives and homes. In the murky light of dawn, the people of Crosby cheered their victory, but a celebration would be short-lived as the cities fell like dominoes, and their fight was lost before it had begun. There, under the old banat tree, now charred and pocketed with holes, lay their guardian and defender, breathing shallow and covered in blood, the neck of a dead Zazal still held in his jaws. Humanity sued for peace, but Redoubt was lost, and as the fires of battle died out, humanity left their fertile world. The dead were buried in the grass where Soldier had took down the Utusa, and what was left of the town of Crosby was burned. The memories would fade as new lives were established, and new families would be made, but a place remained for Soldier in every heart who knew him. On the planet of Redoubt, in a grassy plain lies the ruins of a human settlement called Crosby, battered and scarred by war. Beside the town is a graveyard, where most of the people who lived in Crosby lay at peace evermore. Between the ruin and the cemetery, under an old banat tree, is a simple monument that reads, "Here lies Soldier, the best good boy, loyal to a fault, brave to the end. May the hardship of his short life be rewarded with eternal peace, as he stands guard in death, as in life, over the markers of those who loved him the most."